on MorningLine. Thanks for joining us. Metro at Large Council members Bob Mendes and Steve Glover with us this morning, talking about what's next for Metro, the Metro budget, obviously the new mayor. By the way, we are streaming live right now on Facebook as well at newschannel5.com. So if you go on Facebook and you want to message us with questions or comments on what we're talking about this morning, you can do that. You can also join in the conversation at 737-7587. You know, for a lot of people from the outside looking in as well, they see Nashville boomtown, they come downtown on a weekend or any night of the week, and it's so busy and doing so well, and it's hard sometimes, especially for some visitors, when they're told, you realize Nashville's in some dire economic straits right now. They're like, what? You've got to be kidding me. And that's the thing, as you said a moment ago in the first segment, I mean, more money's coming in than ever before. So where's that money being spent? Why is it not benefiting the folks, I guess, that live here and Metro government?
Well, for starters, we've got a lot more people than we used to have. Our fire department, for example, is smaller today than it was in the mid-90s, and so where's the money being spent? Like not on fire department, not on basic services, and a lot of the downtown money, it's been talked a lot about through the mayoral campaign, gets redirected to pay for the big civic furniture downtown, the convention center, the hotels, the tax increment financing loans, but if you added up every bit of economic incentive that we've got going out anywhere in the city, it's just under $50 million. And if we repatriated all of that money back into the Metro government, it still wouldn't cover the shortfall that the state comptroller is talking about. There's more going on than just the downtown money being redirected toward downtown. We are out of step with property taxes compared to where we've been for the last quarter century.
So you're thinking then again is, as you mentioned before we went to break, that there needs to be more revenue.
There has to be more revenue. We're never going to cut our way to prosperity. That doesn't work on the national level. It doesn't work on the state level. Like, we have been trimming all the people are. I mean, we had a council orientation session over the weekend. One of the departments showed up with handmade folders. Like literally, they hand cut out the logo of Metro to put on the folder. Like, we've cut all the expenses. We've got departments not buying folders, but we need to now take care of revenue also.
Steve?
Well, I respectfully disagree.
Okay.
I mean, our pension fund, as an example, we let a group out of New York manage that money, and 104 basis points is what we pay for that. Now, that means 1.04% of the total of the money that is being managed is what the fee is. If we moved it to TCRS just to manage the money, that would say, not to move the pension, but just to manage the money, that would save us in excess of $35 million. There's the $35 million right there today. And we're not looking at every aspect of that. And see, before I can even think about asking us to raise taxes, I don't think we've done our due diligence to look at how do we save the money. And then if we need to raise taxes, then we have to go out and talk to people about it and tell them exactly how the money's going to be spent. So he and I do disagree on that. However, the great thing about, I think, with our relationship is we are always able to talk to one another, which is what we need to be doing right now. We've got challenging times in front of us, and we need to be able to work as a team to take care of Nashville.
And I would add that I think I heard the mayoral candidates speak as often as anybody did, because I was out on the campaign trail too. I guess we both did. And most frequently, Mayor Cooper did not say, I will not raise taxes. He said it the way Steve just said it, which is, before I could consider it, I'd have to make sure that we had checked all our boxes on other sources. And so the thing that one of the things I'm looking forward to over this next 8-10 months is, now that Mayor Cooper is going to be in office, he's going to have until February, March to figure out where the money is, and then we're gonna, when it comes time to propose a budget, we'll take whatever savings Mayor Cooper can find, and then if there's a shortfall, what I'm hearing everybody say is they could consider a tax increase as long as we've checked the boxes and done our homework for other sources of money.
Okay, but you believe, based on some of the folks that have already supported this, and that the public here in Metro already, you think, is on board with the idea of this?
I think the public is not interested in waiting 2 or 3 years more for people to study this. If there's savings to be had, let's get it. Over the next 8 months, and then not have another budget that we balance on the backs of employees.
But doesn't that seem reasonable, though? I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree with what you're saying about, okay, if we can find other ways, like your example with the pension, and how it's handled, why not? Okay, that's fine.
Well,
but once you've gone that way, I mean, then you start considering. That's how you convince people.
The problem is we haven't gone that way in the past. That's the problem. And so the people who elected me are saying no to taxes. Now, we have a different base, no doubt about it, but yet we both represent a very large amount of the city. And so, therefore, that's where I think my entire point of we've got to work as a team here is because we've got to sit down and have logical conversations. We've got to sit down and work collectively with one another, and we have to be able to trust one another as we go forward. And if I'm satisfied, and I use the word if I'm satisfied that we have in fact exhausted every way of saving money, not just the surface stuff, but every way of saving money, then convince me that we need to raise taxes. I'm not there. I'm not there.
Hey, have you talked to the mayor-elect since the election? Or?
For about 90 seconds.
Okay, I didn't know if you have, Councilman Mendes. I mean, I'm just wondering how eye to eye you are with him. You think at this point, maybe as compared to how you were with Mayor Briley.
Well, compared to Mayor Briley, it would be night and day.
That's what I figured.
I think Councilman Cooper now, Mayor-elect Cooper, and then Mayor Cooper, Cooper as of Saturday, what about 10:15, whatever time that is that he takes the oath of office. I've sat with him on the floor for the last 4 years, as has Councilman Mendes, and I certainly will never speak on his behalf, nor yours or anyone else's, because I have my opinions. You guys have yours. I think that Mayor-elect Cooper is very involved and wants to find a solution. And I believe he is extremely transparent to share with the people about what it is he thinks we need to do. And then I think it's our job on the council to figure out if he's right or wrong. We'll debate that and we'll discuss it. And frankly, I think right now we've got an opportunity to do some really great things in Nashville. And if in fact there's no other option, I'll consider it. But right now, in my opinion, there's a lot of options.
As far as you talking to the mayor-elect, touch bases with him some since his election, or I know you know him, so.
Yeah, it's. I met with him the day after the election. He had asked me a few weeks ago that if he were fortunate enough to win, whether he could sit down with me for coffee the next morning. And so we did, and he was mostly. I think most of what he's doing these last couple of weeks is getting a lot of people's opinions about how the transition should work. And so he asked me some questions about that. We talked about a little bit. On this budget stuff, I heard him say a lot of times on the campaign trail that he wants to make sure that downtown is paying for the city rather than the city paying for downtown before he would consider taxes. And I'm looking forward. Again, we've got till May before the budget is proposed. That's plenty of time for people who've been in and around government to find the pockets of money that they want to repatriate to the general fund, and then we can all do the math together about whether that's enough to fill the hole for our growing city.
Let's take a call or two. We've got Jason on line one. Jason, good morning. Hi, Jason.
Hello.
Hey, Jason. What's on your mind?
I had two questions just following the conversation. The first was, we talked about raising taxes, but is it true that a lot of people in the city are actually paying less in property taxes than they have in the past? But the second question was just the pension fee conversation. Seems like I remember that coming up and people saying that wasn't actually a possibility or that it wasn't legal, something like that. We're just looking for clarification.
All right, thank you.
I think Councilman Glover would agree that when the pension ideas come up in the council the last couple of years, finance or legal has said that it wouldn't add money to the general fund. I know he has questions about that still. I expect we'll get to the bottom of it. But it has been clear that finance and legal have said that that's not a pocket of money that we can get. I'm happy to continue to explore it, but that's what the departments are telling us. And then on the property taxes, there are wide swaths of the city that are paying less property taxes than they were 4 years ago.
How does that come about?
Well, every 4 years we do reappraisal, and it's required to be revenue neutral by state law. We can't make money off of reappraising properties. And so parts of town that are growing fast, the Nations, off of Dickerson Pike, Cleveland Park, those places grow faster than average and their property taxes go up. Places that are growing slower than usual, so all the established, well-moneyed parts of town from Hillsborough West End out through Oak Hill, Forest Hills, Belmead, Green Hills, all are growing slower than average and their property taxes went down. So all through the big chunks of the western part of the city, there's less property taxes being paid today than there were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, again, he and I will disagree. You know, the state of Tennessee is it's run extremely well. It's managed properly, in my opinion. We have a surplus. In fact, in the first month, I think was like $28.8 million surplus revenue, because the state has been efficient on the way they're operating. The state also passed a law that said that municipalities, local governments could utilize TCRS's money management group to manage the money. Now, he and I will agree on this piece of it, that until that board will let us do that, then you know, you're right on that. However, if they'll do it, and it is not illegal, believe me, I have looked through every aspect of this and I've spoken with the state about it. That's $35.5 million. So if we owe, let's just say in the pension fund, $47 million in 1 year, and we only have to pay $12 million versus 35 plus the 12, that's a real savings of money. We're not changing anything about the pension. We're not changing the benefits we're just talking about the management of the money. And this is what I do on a daily basis, is management of the money. And so it's not illegal. And frankly, you know, when people are talking behind the scenes saying we can't do it, oh, we're going to get hurt, this and that. No, actually, if we'll have a real conversation, nobody will get hurt except for, if we keep doing what we're doing, the taxpayers that have to pick up the tab. That's who's getting hurt.
And the thing we'd agree on is if this is a thing that is possible and would actually save Metro money and make it so we can buy more things, then I'm sure Mayor Cooper's going to do it in the next few months.
All right, great.
So we'll know soon enough.
Yeah, they'll look into it. We'll take a break. Yeah, we will. And when we come back, we've got some more phone calls for you and more of our conversation with the two councilmen at large. Your calls, talking about Metro government, spending, budget, all of that right after this.